I am a true born Belizean. Tell them that we born there. Belize my home, my native land. Tell them that we born there. I want you people to understand. Tell them that we born there. I am proud to be a Belizean. Tell them that we born there. You're born there, you're born there. Tell them that we born there. You're born there, you're born there. I am a true born Belizean. Tell them that we born there. Belize my home, my native land. Tell them that we born there. I want you.
Greetings and welcome again to another episode of Navel String Connections. I'm Bilal Morris here live from my studio here in Los Angeles, California. And last week we had our sister ARIA Lightfoot who returned back after a little while, and we were happy to see her show and very good guests last week, a young man on cybersecurity. There's some very, very bright and brilliant Belizean young people, Belizeans who are born of Belizean parents that live in the Belizean diaspora, who have been doing great things, and we want to bring these Belizeans to the forefront so that we can hear the young people, the young moving Belizean Americans that live out in the diaspora, loves Belize, that some who have going to colleges and universities in the Belizean diaspora, United States, United Kingdom, the Caribbean, and all the different places. And we want to welcome you, the Belizean listeners across the Belizean diaspora. And we want to have you to tell one about this show. Navel String Connections is sponsored by the Ministry of Tourism and Diaspora Relations. Our producer is Nur Mohammed. The man on the controls is Harlan. And we come to you on a weekly basis, every Thursday. Every Thursday at this specific time. You can view Navel String Connections on the XTV Facebook page and on the XTV YouTube page. So if you are tuning in right now, you will be able to see it right from whichever part of the world that you are viewing it from. And again, we want to greet you and invite you to tune in. Today's show, we want to cover a variety of different issues that is confronting Belize in the world, and how we in the Belizean diaspora, Belizeans that live out in the Belizean diaspora, are confronting with very challenging issues. One of particularly is the present war that is going on between the United States, Israel, and the Islamic Republic of Iran. And we also want to see how those various issues affect Belize itself. We know that, first of all, the high gas prices that is confronting the people of the United States because of the war itself that has impacted oil prices in an economic and in a financial way. And we want to look at those issues and other very pertinent issues affecting us in the Belizean diaspora. We should be having our guest today, but he's having some technical difficulties in logging in, and we hope that as soon as he is able to get in, we will be able to talk to our guest. But we will look at these various issues confronting the Belizean nation state in terms of how this present war that is going on is affecting Belize and is affecting the Belizean diaspora in itself. We know that whenever they have a saying that whenever the United States sneezes, Belize is Belize catches a cold. And we have our guests presently joining us. Uh, I see you. Look like you didn't want to call me, brother. That's some bad news right there because Zoom don't usually operate good. Um, our brother is having some problems. So we want to say that also one of the things that we are looking forward to. But we want to take a short break and so that our guests can set up. And when we come back, we'll take a short few minutes break. And when we come back, we will continue with our program and hopefully get our guests in good shape. Stay with us.
The Diaspora Relations Unit within the Ministry of Tourism, Youth, Sports, and Diaspora Relations serves as the vital link between Belizeans living abroad and the government of Belize. As a unit, we strengthen relationships, encourage engagement, ensure that Belizeans around the world remain connected to their homeland, and make sure that wherever you are, Belize still feels like home. Another major initiative managed by the unit is the Diaspora Returnee Incentive Program, DRIP. This program was established to attract Belizeans in the diaspora who are considering repatriation. Through the program, eligible returnees are entitled to import household and personal effects, tools of trade, and a personal transportation free of import duties and taxes. It's our way of saying, welcome home, and making your transition back to Belize as smooth as possible. Another important aspect of the unit's work is the coordination and distribution of in-kind donations from the Belizean diaspora and friends abroad. As a unit, we organize and host diaspora meetings with large Belizean communities. These in-person gatherings allow for open dialogue, information sharing, and collaboration between the government and its citizens overseas. Through these interactions, Belizeans abroad are informed of national initiatives and can share their perspectives, ideas, and contributions towards national growth. We also attend events held by the diaspora to continue meaningful dialogues, share updates, hear ideas and inquiries, allowing us to keep the Belizean bond strong. Visit our website to access our chat feature. It allows Belizeans abroad to connect with our team directly for any inquiries or support. We encourage all Belizeans living abroad to sign up to our registry. This will help us keep you informed about initiatives, events, and opportunities to engage with your home country. The Diaspora Relations Unit, serving Belizeans, strengthening connections, and building a bridge between the world and home.
I am a true born Belizean, people to understand. I am proud to be a Belizean. Your bande, your bande. Your bande, your bande. I am a true born Belizean. Belize my home, my native land. I want you people to understand. I am proud to be a Belizean. Your bande, your bande. Your bande, your bande. I am a true born Belizean. Belize my home, my native land. I want you people to understand. I am proud to be a Belizean. Your bande, your bande. Your bande, your bande. I am a true born Belizean. Belize my home, my native land. I want you people to understand. I am proud to be a a Belizean. Tell them that we bonded. Yo bonded, yo bonded. Tell them that we bonded. Yo bonded, yo bonded.
For a summit, the third annual Belize Diaspora Summit, which will be held in Belize this time. When the Belize Diaspora Summit, in its inception, when it was first on, it was in Los Angeles, the home of the largest Belizean community, and the beginning was very grand, outstanding. And then the second annual was in Florida, and now the third annual Belize Diaspora Summit will be in Belize City, Belize itself, and it will be held at the House of Culture and the Bliss itself. So there are two venues, and also at the Grand Bazaar Hotel, I understand, on the Northern Highway. So we hope that Belizeans who are living in Belize and Belizeans across the Belizean diaspora will be able to attend. And as you see it there, it will be from July the 23rd to July the 25th. July the 23rd to July the 25th. And look at those. The flyer is we are putting up the announcement and the public service announcement on the screen. The Belizeans, pay attention and hope that we can make it. Winston Arnold, my brother, you look like you're ready like Freddie.
I'm ready.
You're good? You sure your video not freezing up?
No, I know this is a better location. This is a better place.
You're a top electronics technician, man. I remember you set up
and
audio, all kind of thing. I know you look like.
And I'm on the Samsung S26, one of the baddest phones out there. So.
Okay. All right. So let's introduce you, my brother. And it looks like it's okay. We are hearing you and we are seeing you. And again, our guest today is our brother Winston Arnold, a Belizean living in the Los Angeles, California area. He's an educator. And our brother is a very frequent person, a very frequent personality on Facebook itself. Winston Arnold is one of those Belizeans who share a passionate interest in Belize itself. Again, he's an educator, and he has taught, like myself, in the Los Angeles area for many years, many years. And so we want to introduce our brother to the Navel String Connections audience, And again, we want to say this show is sponsored by the Ministry of Tourism and Diaspora Relations. Our producer is Noor Mohammed, and our executive producer is XTV. And as we introduce our guests, we want to say again, Winston Arnold comes to us live out of Los Angeles. My brother, tell us, man, first of all, where your navel string berry? Where give us a good
Blue Street and Rocky Road.
Blue Street and Rocky Road.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, well, we know Belizeans who live in Belize City itself, know that area very well. But tell us something about yourself, how your upbringing in Belize, schools that you went, how you were educated, and stuff like that.
Okay, sure. First of all, there's like 4 boys, 3 girls in my family. I'm the oldest boy, followed by we got 3 more girls. One of the things growing up, my dad told us is that I can't focus on all 7 of you. I gotta focus on one of you, and by doing that, I'll be able to get something done. All 7, and I'll get lost. So I started St. John's Primary School, and I was they skipped me 2 classes. They skipped me let me see, that was standard 3, and they skipped me standard 5. I don't know why they did that, but when I got to standard 6 and I finished standard 6, I was too young to go to Michael's. I was just 10 years old. So they decided they're going to hold me back a year. I spent 2 years in standard 6, And at 11, I went to St. Michael's College. I took the government scholarship. I won that scholarship, and I went to Michael's. I spent 4 years at Michael's I was privileged to be under Sidney Satchwell. I always remember that very, very good guy.
Very much.
And I graduated from there. I just turned 16. I was 15 and a half when I graduated from there. I spent, again, I was too young for the job market to be out there. So I decided I'm going to go to technical for 1 year. So I went to Belize Technical College, just kind of like sit back and relax and spend that year. And after technical, I signed up for sixth form, technical too. After doing my first year at sixth form technical, things were not going too well financially in the home. And I told my dad, you know what, I can put off my education a little bit, but I got to get a job. I got to find a job to take care of everybody. So it was a little bit after they had training for the Weather Bureau. So I went and I did the training. They had that at technical. They told us that when we started, it was about 100 of us. They told us, don't worry about that. We only need about 15 people, but everybody will drop out of this course by the time we get to clouds and all that kind of thing. But so said, so done. By the time the course was finished, it was only about a dozen of us. I went on to start working for Weather Bureau under Mr. Kendrick Leslie. Awesome guy.
Yes, indeed.
And I started February working for Weather Bureau. And in the August, again, I won another Canadian scholarship to go study in Barbados. So I went to Barbados, went over there at 17 when I went to Barbados. First time leaving, not just leaving the country, but leaving my home and leaving any of that. The experience was a really, really good one. I enjoyed it, and then I went back and continue work my job with Weather Bureau, Belize Weather Bureau. I worked for another few more years, and then I migrated to the U.S. The first city when I came to the U.S. was Chicago. I spent 3 years in Chicago, but oh Lord, Chicago was too cold for me.
Too cold.
Too cold. I remember my flying to Chicago. The flight attendant asked me, where are you coming from? I said, I'm coming from Belize to live in Chicago. Flight attendant said, are you crazy? Are you going from that nice tropical country coming over here to Chicago? Yeah, so I spent 3 years in Chicago, then I came to Los Angeles.
Awesome.
It wasn't too long. It wasn't too long after coming to LA. I worked for this big company that everybody knew, ITC Electronics, electronic sales. I spent a couple of years working for ITC Electronic Sales, and I was recruited by a principal with LA Unified School District, Mr. Pete Fernandez. There's a lot of times that himself and his vice principal, they all made trips there to purchase and to do different things, get some understanding. And I didn't know they were principal and vice principal. And one day he looked at me, he said, you should teach. I think you're a very, very good candidate in teaching. I'm like, I don't know about that. I used to always remember my teacher at Michael's. He told me that I am teaching you to make money, but teaching is not the thing. I told him, I don't know if I'm gonna like teaching. Then he insisted and insisted. He said, I will bring all the material that you need to fill out the application for the FBI, all that kind of stuff. It was like a book, as we all know, for the application, the fingerprint, the background check, all that information. And again, I was slow to finish all that up. And one day he came to me, he said, you know how much we're going to start you? And this is back in 1987. He said, we're going to start you at $27 an hour. I told him I'll have everything ready in 2 days. So I completed everything, and I started working at East LA Skill Center. I taught mobile electronics. That's automotive electrical. I spent over a dozen years. That's with LA Unified School District, over a dozen years. And during that time, working for LAUSD, word got around that I was very flexible as a teacher. I had the know-how and stuff like that. So within LAUSD themselves, they would keep calling me to go to other schools to rescue different programs, and that's how I went around. I went to 4 high schools for LAUSD. Venice High School, Hollywood High School, North Hollywood High School, and I'm forgetting the other one. Anyway, I went to 4 high schools in the LAUSD. And then my last session with LAUSD was working. I went to Palisades High, which is a charter high school. I love the charter high school principle and policies. I loved it so much. I decided, you know what? I'm going to stay away from LAUSD for a little bit. So I separated from LAUSD, and from Palisades High, I went to Samo High, Santa Monica High School. I spent 2 years there. And again, while I was teaching at Samo High, they recruited me to teach at Santa Monica College. So I became an adjunct professor at Santa Monica College. I spent another 3.5 years at Santa Monica College. And I left from there and I went to Oxnard High School. I mean, I'm around teaching. I'm around.
Yeah,
And
you're around, bro.
I've been around. So basically, I had my credentials since 1987. Now I have what they call a clear credential. I don't have to do anything but pay the money and renew. I have been having it so long. And ever since then, I've been involved in teaching, and now teaching is a passion for me. I absolutely love teaching. So that's my professional part.
Yes, man. Boy, you know, that was a journey there, but you know, it is so impressive to hear your resume, to hear
Uh-huh.
your work. And what struck me, and I knew that from because we were friends, we knew you. You went to school with my brother Kevin, and
Yes.
we knew you, and Kevin was always coming home from primary school talking about, man, Winston Armour, Ali guy, Ali genius, Ali guy there. Kevin was always talking about how bright you were, you know?
Uh-huh.
And we could understand in that whole process, there were a lot of people who were getting skipped, you know, 2
Uh-huh.
to 4,
Uh-huh.
4 to 6. That was the process, right? And so you
Uh-huh.
got pushed up the ladder, like a lot of people who I know like you, who were like, man, I got pushed up so young, I had to wait one. No, yeah, you understand that 6.
Yes, yes.
That was Greg
Actually,
Sheeran. Like you said, I had to wait because he keep getting skipped like you. But it was amazing that you were this little
uh-huh.
genius or this little brilliant mind, right? And people they see you today, but they don't really know the Winston Arnold. So it was a pleasure to bring you on to hear that story, because it is very interesting that you graduated and started high school so very young in Belize, and then
Uh-huh.
you graduated so young. But talk
Uh-huh.
about the fact that you said you graduated from St. Michael's. Did you take GCs and those things?
I took it was 4. I don't really remember, 4 or 5 GCEs. Yes, I did take GCE by GCE,
Yes.
general
So you
education.
you
But
couldn't go to sixth farm or something after you left Michael's?
no, after I left Michael's, I was still too young. I was like really, really young. And I couldn't get into the workforce. I couldn't do
15,
any of
no?
that. Uh-huh. You see, that was the thing. It was good that they skipped me these classes, but what it led to me being too young to be out there.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I have one point while we're talking about that. This awesome friend of mine, my classmate from St. John's, his name is John Mencias, and I
Yes, yes.
talk to him on a regular basis.
Yes, yes. I want to say something about that too.
John, one of our conversation I had with John, John looked at me, and John is a genius. That guy is, oh my goodness, John is smart. One of our conversation that we had quite recently that I had with John, he said, we made school hard for the other students, Winston. And I kind of believe that, because now in the teaching profession, it does make it hard when, I guess, being smart like that. And John is nothing to play with. John is really,
Oh,
really,
yes.
really smart. Yeah.
Yeah,
We made it hard for the
and
other students to keep up, huh?
Sharon talk about it, you know, come me and he was chatting and he was saying that, man, he said it was you and Jasmine. He said, so I used to know how Henderson run her class because I came through
Yes,
that same
yes,
system. So
yes.
I said to Greg, well, Winston and John, I think early ideal, right? We are back, we don't get no ideal.
Yeah. Big props to John. Big props to John. Another very intelligent fellow.
Yeah,
Very
man.
intelligent. Yeah.
Who used to run things and then see us today as an engineer, as you know, with BTL
Yes.
or something like that,
Uh-huh.
no? Greg
Yeah.
Sharon himself later on went on to become an engineer with Edison, still with
Mhm.
Edison. And you here today, an outstanding educator, but started out in the automotive electronics field. You were teaching that. Talk about that, if you may, Winston, because I remember that's how I knew you here
Mhm.
in Los Angeles. That
Right. Right.
you started with LA Unified School District, which
Mhm.
I am also teaching at. You started with them, and then you started very early, way back there in the 80s, but
Yes.
you were teaching automotive because I remember you were doing like the evening classes or something like that.
Yes, automotive, electrical, yes, electronics, yes, mobile
Talk
electronics.
about that field because I know you're not teaching that right now, you're teaching general subjects, but talk about
Right.
teaching in that era because that's a very important vocational
Mhm.
trade that we know
Exactly.
it's not we talk about in Belize. If you're not smart, then dash you out. Oh, you don't see
Mhm.
a thing. But a lot of these people who we overlook, as you very well know, that came up in that primary school hierarchy,
Uh-huh.
um, those people,
Wait, I'm still
we,
here. Yeah.
okay, your video is gone.
Okay, I'm still okay, hold on. I'm still here. Okay.
We lost your video.
Yeah,
There you
yeah.
are. There you are. So we're talking about a lot of these people were skilled trades. They were good with trades, right? They were good
Yeah.
visual learners. They were not maybe academically inclined. But
Yeah.
as you are someone who was teaching automotive, you look like you took a grasp at that as someone who came out of a sort of an academic
Correct.
exercise, but then you developed this skill in automotive, which is
Fir-
mechanics. Talk about
right.
that.
First of all, when I started with LAUSD doing the mobile electronics, they used to call it then, it was a pilot program.
You lost your video again.
Okay, hold on, let me uh hold on, let me get back to the meeting. Sorry about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you could continue talking while you're trying
Yeah,
to put your
anyway,
video back
it
on.
was a pilot program for LA Unified School District, starting the mobile electronics program. And I fit in there quite well with my electronics background and the thing that I had to teach. So it ended up really, really good because they weren't sure if the program would have made it. And bringing me in there because I was the second teacher that taught this program for LAUSD, and it became
Okay.
such a big success. Became a big success with me that they started introducing that program all over LAUSD. You can
Okay.
still hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. It's just that your
Yeah,
video is still off, but keep
yeah.
going ahead. We're hearing you.
Yeah, so it was quite big with LAUSD, and they were able to expand that program all over the district. And this is how I came in, where they would call me. They wanted to start it at West Valley Occupational because at that time I was teaching adult school. They wanted to start it at West Valley Occupational Program, Maxine Waters. They also wanted to do it at East LA Skills Center. They taught it downtown at Abram Friedman. All these schools, I've been there at every single one of them, teaching at every one of them and being in their program. So and that became a big success. And I looked at it being in there for about 15 years. I looked at the direction and how things were going, and I made a decision that, you know what, I've got to advance on this. I've got to expand on not just mobile electronics, but automotive in general.
Yeah.
And that's when I picked up in the entire automotive program, not just automotive electronics, but automotive in general.
Yes, yes. That's very, very important because then the next question I wanted to bring to you is Belize used to have what they call the Center for Employment Trainings, where
Yeah,
young
set.
people,
Yes, yes.
I
Uh-huh.
don't, you know about the sets, right? I know you
Yes.
have now the IVETs now. They turned them into something called, and one of the people, one of the masters who created and who was the brainchild behind these programs that was trades was Stance Bowman. I don't know if you know
Okay.
Stance Bowman.
No, I'm not familiar with the
And
gentleman.
he is he was the scholar, the man that was versed in that, and he set up these IVET programs, schools all over the country. He designed the whole program. But I
Mm-hmm.
remember the one in Belize City, um, where they were teaching all these different trades, and young people who were not really attracted to the academic thing, because in Belize, if you don't want to be a lawyer, you want to be one this or that. But there were
Mm-hmm.
young people who were more interested in the trades, vocational.
Correct.
Automotive was one of the things them that mechanics, automotive engineering was one of the things that I remember. The Center for Employment Training, which is now the IVETS,
Right.
they have now embarked on, and it's doing wonderfully well. And it's given these Belizean young people who are hands-on, who are people who are visual learners, who can do stuff with their hands, electronics, carpentry,
Mm-hmm.
automotive, all these different things. But talk
Uh-huh.
about you as a person that taught that trade,
Mm-hmm.
automotive. Uh,
Okay.
talk about how important that is for a country like Belize.
First of all, um, when it comes to we call it either the regional occupational program or adult schools or any of that, that is absolutely important for the education industry. That's because it's more than half of the students, they're not either not going to go to college or they'll fall out of college or they're not meant for it. So kids need something else that they can be involved with. Kids need something else that they can become leaders, become automotive shop owners and things like
Yeah.
that. Now, when it comes to automotive, we're looking at a field that is so advancing every single day, every year. This thing is advancing. Now, they need people to keep up with it. When I initially started, and I'll give you an example, when I initially started teaching this, if we look at that time, you look at a Corvette, for example, 1980s Corvette. That car
Yes.
had only one onboard computer, just one
Wow.
that controls stuff. If you look at the Corvette now, you would not believe it. That car has over 20 onboard computers
Man.
controlling entire function. So somebody's got to know about these. Then what happened is started scaring people away, scaring mechanics away because a lot of them, they're mechanically inclined. They're
Yes.
inclined when it comes to changing a starter and doing valves and stuff like that. But here comes all these sensors. Here comes OBD, onboard diagnostic, where you're given codes as to what might be wrong or what can be wrong, and you have to follow that to where
Yes.
the problem is or where the situation is. This is where students have to be educated. This is where the students in Belize, they need to be in a facility and have this kind of training that brings them up to date with this.
Yes.
Because it's not easy. It's really, really not easy. You cannot work on a car now if you're not computer inclined or electronically inclined. You can't do it. You
Absolutely.
can't do it. You must have those backgrounds to do with cars. And now, more than ever, we have the great thing in LA, the Waymo cars, self-driving cars. That is a
Yes.
marvel by itself. That is an absolutely marvel in the automotive field. Now, like I said, Belizeans, they need to take it from, have the training facilities from the base level and expand on it. And learn, you have to learn the electronics, learn the computer programming, because this is what runs the system now. All of these cars, all of these newer cars, they're updated over the year. I don't know if you own a
Digitally set up.
right. So instead of even taking your car into the dealer to have it updated or upgraded, it's done wherever there's a good Wi-Fi. See what I
Wow.
mean?
Wow.
Yeah, so you don't have to do that anymore. The only time that car will go into the dealership is when there's a complete failure.
Mhm.
apart from that, everything is done while you're driving.
Wow.
See?
Wow.
Yeah.
And so you're saying that though we have good mechanics in Belize and though we have good training in Belize to train young people, students
Mm-hmm.
of automotive engineering into
Mm-hmm.
this various field, you're saying that a lot of these, and I noticed that because renting vehicles in Belize, everything is most of it is digital, right? Like
Right.
you were saying,
Right.
everything is driven, and a
Everything.
lot of
Everything.
times, Winston, the problem Belize have, a lot of the times these vehicles break down and they can't fix them
Right.
because
Right.
we don't have the trained people. And so a lot of times, not only that is the problem, but spare parts is becomes a problem, right? Spare
Correct.
parts become a problem. And
Correct.
so a
Correct.
lot of the times these situations find us where spare parts become a problem. But apart from the engineering part and the digital part,
Mhm.
we know that we have good mechanics, but they are not necessarily trained in
Right.
use with all these latest model cars. For
Correct.
example, we can even have an electrical car in Belize, and I know they say they have some, but we
Uh-huh.
don't have the capacity to really uh, to foster this kind of thing, right? We have
Uh-huh.
Belize City Council have electric buses now, right? But there
Mm-hmm.
are very few and electric cars that they use as taxis.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about how Belize can get itself ready. Belize
No.
is a country, especially Belize City, where you have more car than people,
Right. Right. Right.
right?
There's
How
there's a
can
couple.
Belize prepare
There's a
itself
couple.
in terms of what you are talking about?
Okay. There's a couple
The
areas in
fast
Belize getting
moving
ready.
technology.
There's a couple areas in Belize getting ready, and one of those, again going back, I had a conversation with John because he had BEL.
Awesome.
BEL is looking to expand on the charging system, whether it's a remote or stationary charging system for all these cars, because we got to start with there. The cars have to be charged somewhere.
Right.
So, first of all, is the is the electrical system in Belize, is it prepared for that? What do they have to add? How they have to upgrade to charge all these cars? So first we got to look at how is that going to be done, or what they have to do to implement that. And that brings job by itself because you need technician to install, service, and troubleshoot all these charging stations. That's the first thing. The second thing, and I always joke about this on Facebook. One of the number one problem Belize will have, big problem with electric cars, is because of the weather and the rain and the flood. The
Yes.
minute you're looking at more than about 4 inches of water on the road, you're gonna have problems with electrical cars because that's where all the electronics and the battery is, on the bottom of the car.
The bottom.
On the bottom, exactly. That's where the problem comes in. So that's another thing that they got to address. They got to look at what can be done to fix that, to properly enhance it. And once you're looking at these areas, because electric cars, if nothing is done about that system, is not going to run for too long in Belize. Because the minute it sits and the minute it gets in these water, and Belize, not just the water, but the water is very salty because the
Very
sea is right
much.
there.
Yeah.
Very corrosive. Very, very corrosive. So that's another one of the areas that they got to look at. And apart from that, it's just to do the basic now electronics. Now what we look at, we have electronics. Electric cars come with a combination of both. You could have people trained with the electrical system, which is for the grid, or people trained in electronics. The difference is one is low and high voltage. Electrical cars come with both. They come with their 12 volts. They come with their 5 volts operating voltage on the computer system. And depending on the electrical car you have, what they use to actually run the motors is 6, 7, 800 volts. So they have to be trained in these different areas. And
Yeah.
that's one of the things we got to look at. Now, you have a lot of people, a lot of Belizeans that have training in these areas, that know about these things. And I think one of the best way to do that is that if you have like if the government would have like a committee, have us go over there and let's talk to them about that. Let's look at what can be done or what needs to be done immediately, so that they don't make their step without doing their homework. You got to do your homework before you make the step. Otherwise, you're going to encounter problems
Yes.
in the process. So they have to talk about this, and they have to look at that and see what needs to be done and what they have to address.
Yeah, because it's looked at as a form of clean energy. As you know,
Yes.
United States is trying to push. You got here ethanol buses that are driven by ethanol to get away from this diesel and this gas for pollution. We know we're going through a global warming and
Correct.
a climate change whole
Correct.
era.
Correct.
Which the things are trying to change in terms of cars and automobiles. Los Angeles is the most polluted city in the whole world because of the
Correct.
freeways, of the cars, and the emission of carbon monoxide in the air, right?
Correct. Correct.
Electrical comes in, electrical engineering comes in to the play where you have electric cars and buses, as Belize City Council has introduced electric buses that they're using to move around, to carry passengers around in the city, as well as as well as in the electric cars. I think that is a very ingenious idea that the Mayor Bernard Wagner had implemented, right? Bringing that into the fray. It's sort of he's big on clean energy. Speaking
Correct.
to him off the record, he said that he is very big on clean energy, and he wants to see a way how to help Belize City fight pollution.
Correct.
You come from that city,
and
right?
it can be done, because I remember when I moved here to Los Angeles in the 80s, they used to always say on the radio, Los Angeles is the only place in the world where you could see the air you breathe.
Yeah.
And now, and now look at LA
Smog.
now. They have cleaned up a lot. They have cleaned up a lot because all this endorsement with clean air. So Belize needs to implement the same thing. They can do it. Start with the government vehicles. Start with the public vehicles. Make all those electrical vehicles. And then you'll save yourself money on the gas.
But do we have the infrastructure for it? Where you want to put those batteries? The disposing of those batteries.
First of all, you're going to advance on the electrical system, on the grid itself. You have to make the grid be able to deal with that. The next thing is, by developing a better relationship, we don't have to worry about coming all the way to the US or UK. Develop a better relationship with Mexico, because Mexico built a lot of these batteries and these electronic systems. Mexico is our neighbor. They're right there. By having a relationship with them,
Belize with electricity.
Yeah, and they can help us with the electric for the batteries and stuff like that. Servicing.
Yeah, very much so. So instead of you're saying the disposing of these batteries, which is because Belize have a recycling problem, all right? A problem where plastic and things is not like it's recycled here, right? It's creating a lot of pollution. I was seeing one friend tell me that he was driving in Belize and he actually saw smog.
Really?
Right. So I was telling him why I don't really know about that, but he said, yeah, the place is getting polluted because we don't have no system in place to recycle and all these sorts of things. And now you're trying to say, no, I'm just saying that we want to introduce, we are trying to fight clean, and we are trying to create clean energy, right? Bring in clean energy to fight pollution, but instead we don't have a good pollution program, a good pollution policy.
Right, there's absolutely none.
Absolutely
and you can start with that, right?
So that's what I'm saying. Talk to that, if you may, in terms of how we can design, how Belize itself can design some kind of problem, some kind of policy that will work hand in hand to help fight climate change, and at the same time introduce this kind of vehicles, automobiles, like electrical cars and buses into its system.
Okay, one of the first thing is I need to identify the vehicles what they consider as gross polluters, depending on the year, make, and model, going up to a specific year, let's say 1980. And there's got to be some sort of incentive or buyback program where you get rid of these cars off the road because they're all gross polluters.
What's the role of that
And-
catalytic converter, Winston?
I'm sorry?
What's the role of that catalytic converter? Because it's
The
not needed in
catalytic
Belize. You take it
converter,
off
it
and you take a
removes-
vehicle there.
The catalytic converter, what it does, that mix of oxygen and nitrogen that's in the exhaust system, it removes the bad,
Pollution.
right? It removes the pollution. It removes the bad gases from there. It gets trapped in there, and only the good one comes out, which is
So they
cleaner
will have to
air.
keep those on those vehicles instead of taking them off.
Yeah, they will have to keep them. They will have to keep them on. And that will be a problem because they're so expensive. But I think the first thing is you identify, let's say you go all the way up to 1985 and have some sort of buyback program where you buy these old cars, get rid of them. And then gradually you have this concept where you start with the newer 190s where you had the smog system. They already have the smog and catalytic converters. And with electrical, knowing Belize and knowing the people of Belize, they will be kind of a little bit scared if they're not of the electrical cars. But this is something that you have to introduce to them. You have to let them know. You have to have it available. As soon as they see it and there's availability, then it will be fine with them. But
So you
until
said
then,
design a pilot project, something like a pilot
right,
project.
a pilot project, exactly, a pilot project.
Yeah.
A
Because
pilot
now, Winston,
project.
you don't only have that. Now you have Belize is beginning to get electrical bikes.
Yeah.
Electrical
Yeah.
motorcycles, electrical. I have a friend of mine who just gave one as a station prize. One of the Gibson brothers, he came from New York. He has a company in New York that sells them. And he gave one to the state as a station prize for in the cross country.
E-bikes, yeah.
Yes, but if you go into Belize, you see them. You see the scooters, you see them. And so that again, you're seeing the electrical automobile, electrical mobility, or you would call mobile automotive, right?
Yes,
You
yes.
see it coming in the form of alternative forms of energy in motorcycles, in electrical motorcycles, electrical bikes. I mean, we have a tendency to have things just spring on us. In Belize have a tendency to just have things just like cable television just come there and then we have to try figure it out, right?
Yes, yes.
The arrival of television in Belize.
Yes.
Belize cannot allow this to happen with electrical automobiles because it's coming. People
It's
are going to
coming.
bring them
Yeah,
in
you
there.
can't avoid
The
it. It's coming.
Teslas are already in Belize.
Yes, yes,
Right?
yes. It's coming. And see, the thing is, the traffic in Belize City, I don't know how it got there, but something has to be done about that. The traffic is, I mean, like you said, there's more cars than people.
Yeah, very much.
There's more cars than people. So there's got to be this program where you, first of all, get rid of all the old ones, all the gross polluters off the street. Introduce them to these newer cars, to these e-bikes, to these newer vehicles.
Yes.
And let's start with that. You got to start at some point.
Yes.
Somewhere.
But it has to start with a very formidable system. You can't just have them, they pile up, Belize there, and next thing you know, people are taking these batteries, man, and disposing of them and adding to the pollution. You know what I'm saying?
Mexico has a nice system where you could take the bad batteries, like from these electric cars and these e-bikes, and they completely refurbish them. Remember we had that Renko battery in Belize where they would take everything out, the old batteries, and redo it, kind of similar. And that kind of saves the environment too, because then what they're doing is that they're taking all these old batteries, instead of throwing them away and discarding them, that they have so much chemical. Lithium is one of them. And lithium is very unstable.
Very unstable.
Right. So they can redo and refurbish and make it all better. But in the meantime, the people have to have something that they can rely on, something that they can say, okay, you know what? This is better than my old clunker car. This will work for me.
Yeah.
So introduce them. China has some really, really good, very cheap electrical cars. Matter of fact, they'll be the next big ones on the market, especially here in the United States, because their cars are so good and it's very cheap. That's another one of the things that they can look into.
Yes.
And start with that. Start with that.
Yes. Yes.
But first, we got to deal with the grid, because you have to be able to
Yes.
charge all these batteries, all these
Yes.
cars.
They don't have that. Yeah. I noticed
Yes.
that the Belize City Council have a small little grid, if that's what it's called, next to the city hall. And you have not been in Belize recently to see the new city hall
No,
on Albert Street, right? you got
I
you don't
haven't
got a
been there
whole
good
you
one.
don't got a whole long time, brother.
Yeah.
But they have to accommodate the electric buses that they have on the roads to provide buses for the people, for the pedestrians and so on. They have, I saw it, where they can charge up, where the buses and the electric cars are getting charged up. They have a system. But like you're saying, there has to have a grid. Talk about this grid, because when you say grid, a lot of people don't understand, or viewers don't really understand what you're talking about.
Okay. Basically, and this is John's field now. When it comes to the electrical system that provides light, electricity for the homes and the country and stuff like that, everything is controlled by a network, what they call a grid. That's computer control, where they will take, whenever there's an overload in one area, they would shift the electricity from other areas that have lower load to accommodate that. Now, when you look at, you will say, okay, we expect to have 5,000 electrical cars within that. And you look at the battery capacity, you look at the amp hour, how much it's going to need. And just with a basic math, it tells you how much load it's going to put on the system. Now, depending on the load that it's going to put on the system, you have to either add transformers in certain areas, you have to add cables, add a system so that it can accommodate, so that it can be able to provide the charging or the methods of charging for these cars in different areas. And you could spread it out. It could be spread out quite easily. And it doesn't have to become a big financial issue to start with. But you can spread it out.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is Naval String Connections. I'm Bilal Morris. And we are speaking with Belizean Winston Arnold, also electrical engineer and automotive engineer and an educator. So we are spending a lot of topic on his field. He looked like, he looked like like a simple guy, but this little dude is heavy. This little dude has done some big things, and his era is in an era where Belize needs people like him very, very much. Electrical engineers, as he's talking about John Mencius, who I think runs BTL. He was also in class with Greg Sheeran, who is a top engineer out here with Edison. These were all the one that used to sit on the front and get ideal for Miss Henderson. And so we will take a short break. And before we take that break, we want to say this program, this show is sponsored by the Ministry of Tourism and Diaspora Relations. Our producer is Noor Mohammed. Executive producer is Mose Hyde and XTV. The man behind the control is Harlan. And so when we come back, we want to talk about Belize have electrical problems, brother. You have enough electricity, right? So when we come back, we want to talk about that. Stay with us when we come back.
Right. The Diaspora Relations Unit within the Ministry of Tourism, Youth, Sports, and Diaspora Relations serves as the vital link between Belizeans living abroad and the government of Belize. As a unit, we strengthen relationships, encourage engagement, ensure that Belizeans around the world remain connected to their homeland, and make sure that wherever you are, Belize still feels like home. Another major initiative managed by the unit is the Diaspora Returnee Incentive Program, DRIP. This program was established to attract Belizeans in the diaspora who are considering repatriation. Through the program, eligible returnees are entitled to import household and personal effects, tools of trade, and a personal transportation free of import duties and taxes. It's our way of saying, welcome home, and making your transition back to Belize as smooth as possible. Another important aspect of the unit's work is the coordination and distribution of in-kind donations from the Belizean diaspora and friends abroad. As a unit, we organize and host diaspora meetings with large Belizean communities. These in-person gatherings allow for open dialogue, information sharing, and collaboration between the government and its citizens overseas. Through these interactions, Belizeans abroad are informed of national initiatives and can share their perspectives, ideas, and contributions towards national growth. We also attend events held by the diaspora to continue meaningful dialogues, share updates, hear ideas and inquiries, allowing us to keep the Belizean bond strong. Visit our website to access our chat feature. It allows Belizeans abroad to connect with our team directly for any inquiries or support. We encourage all Belizeans living abroad to sign up to our registry. This will help us keep you informed about initiatives, events, and opportunities to engage with your home country. The Diaspora Relations Unit, serving Belizeans, strengthening connections, and building a bridge between the world and home.
I am a true born Belizean. Tell them that we born it. Belize my home, my native land. Tell them that we born it. I want you people to understand. Tell them that we born it. I am proud to be a Belizean. Tell them that we born it. You're born there, you're born there. Tell them that we born it. You're born there, you're born there. I am a true born Belizean. Tell them that we born it. Belize my home, my native land. Tell them that we born it. I want you people to understand. Tell them that we born it. I am proud to be a Belizean. Tell them that we born it. You're born there, you're born there. Tell them that we born it. You're born there, you're born there.
And welcome back. This is Naval String Connections. I'm Bilal Morris, live from my studio here in Los Angeles, California. This show is sponsored by the Ministry of Tourism and Diaspora Relations, and our producer is Nur Mohammed. Our executive producer is Moose Hyde of XTV. The man behind the control is Harlan, our engineer, or television and radio engineer for the show. And we are speaking with our brother Winston Arnold, a Belizean educator that lives in Los Angeles for many years. And I would say that he is a outstanding auto engineering expert as well as an electrical engineering expert. This brother have taught in this field. Though he tried to play it down, he has taught in this field. He's very versed in this field. He's not only taught in the field, but he worked in the field. And so we are talking about introducing this whole thing of introducing electric automobiles into the system, into the country of Belize, and the fact that Belize have to have a very effective, efficient grid to accommodate that kind of thing. We talk about clean energy, as Mayor Bernard Wagner of Belize City Council have always proposed as one of his main points in helping Belize City, the largest population center in the country of Belize, Belize City, which is overrun by cars, overrun by automobiles. And also we have a problem with diesel polluting the air. So I remember he mentioned to me, the mayor, that Belize City is having a pollution problem, and that why he has pushed hard to have the electric buses and the electric cars as taxis and as buses to provide and to sort of get rid of these diesel run buses that are polluting the environment. But Winston, my brother, we talk about all that, but Belize have an electrical output and input problem. We're having a lot of blackouts. We don't have a very good electrical system, in that we are still buying electricity from Mexico. The hydroelectricity in Cayo, Mulholland, and Chalia is not providing enough. We still are using those diesel turbines to provide electricity. Then we want to introduce electric automobiles as a means of curbing pollution. into the system. It's not, it's maybe a long-term thing because
Mhm.
we can't do that and we have to have a report, a scientific report, a fact-finding report. If Belize is capable, we have to have a research done, research and
Correct.
development. But you
Correct.
tell me from your perspective, how would this impact what you were talking about in having electric automobiles into the system of Belize, transportation and otherwise, and also to curb pollution when we don't have enough electricity to accommodate it? Talk about that.
Okay. One of the first things we need to do, or we have to look at, we have to do the math. We have to look at the demands on the system. What is there? What is the demands on the electrical system? We have to look at what they're providing right now. What percentage of the demand that they're able to provide and things like that. Let's start with that. The second thing, we got very efficient departments in government right there with very trained and very skilled Belizeans. For example, look at Weather Bureau, for example. They have statistics as to the areas of the country where you have the wind, sustained winds for a period of time and for how long. You use those areas to set up wind farms.
Yes.
Weather Bureau have that. Weather Bureau already have that information. And then you got to look at other areas you have to back up. You have to have facilities and so that you are able to facilitate the system. Just burning diesel engine and burning that diesel to provide electricity is just not enough anymore. You have to have alternate. You have to have backup system. Belize can handle wind farms quite easily.
How
And
about
wind
solar?
farms is the, I'm sorry?
And solar.
Yeah, and solar. Those are very inexpensive ways of generating electricity. I know for a fact when I was there working at Weather Bureau, you have several areas all the way down at PG that they have very good wind that can generate. And this will generate it for a long period of time.
Yes, sure indeed. I
Okay?
wonder why we
So
have not gone into wind. Why Belize have not gone into wind, that is.
first of all, I think the same way in every government department, you have the CEO. They have to pick out like the electrical czar, somebody that can gather these people, gather this information, and put things together to know where are we going to get it from, what we're lacking, and what we're getting it from. Because having a system where you have to rely on another country like Mexico for electricity, that by itself, it creates problems. That by itself, you're looking for a crisis there, because the minute something diplomatically goes wrong or they don't get what they want, they can download, they can reduce on that, they can harm the country on that. A very thing that astonished me was, because we all know that Elon must have the new Wi-Fi, the new with the
Right.
satellites and everything, and
Yes.
he was able to turn off Wi-Fi for countries that doesn't agree with him.
You see the power of that? Yes.
You see that power? That's
Yes.
powerful.
Yes.
That is
Yes.
absolutely powerful. So
And
Belize,
we were courting him to bring his internet thing
Starlink,
into,
his
yeah, and
Starlink,
we are still looking at Belize is still looking at him as an alternative.
Starlink, yes. And as soon as Belize doesn't do something he likes, he's going to turn it off.
Yes, yes.
He's going to
Yeah,
turn it off.
yeah. So that's a dangerous road to go down, trying to deal with Starlink.
Right. I think what we got to look at is we got to invest in our own people. Go to Belizeans. You have Belizeans that are trained in Belize. You have Belizeans that are trained abroad that knows about these things, that is quite versed in these things, that can actually help them designing and enhancing and putting something very effective together. I'm not sure about the hydro plant right now, but the other ones, when it comes to the wind farm and solar, those are very effective.
Yes, indeed. And they
Those
are
can
forms of clean
enhance the grid.
energy. They are forms
Right,
of
and
clean
they're clean
energy.
energy.
Yes.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes, very much so. But that's a very important thing in that we are talking about the development of a country where it has a skill bank of Belizeans living in the diaspora like yourself, my brother.
Mm-hmm.
And we are happy that you came, the invitation that you came to the show to talk and to address those things because you're a frequent person who's always providing solutions to problems on Facebook on your blogs, right?
Right, right.
But this is an area that I have to keep drilling you on because I keep forgetting. And you know what? I look at a lot of those Facebook blogs and those that you barely talk about this, right?
Yeah,
You barely talk about
yeah.
this. This is the area that you should be talking about, Winston Arnold,
Okay,
right? But you are into the
let's look at
political part and different things,
uh-huh.
which is also good. But brother, a person like you, you're a skill bank in that we need to hear more from people like you, and that people like you are available in the Belizean
Mm-hmm.
diaspora to provide. And you
Mm-hmm.
have communication with people like John Mencius and so on that are electrical engineers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Greg Sheeran that is here, that is a big manager up there with Edison. Um, this is where it happens. And I think we have the people who are in place. So talk about that if you may. Um, you
First of all,
as someone,
let's look
right,
at
that is a Belizean with a skill that is very much a skill, electrical engineer, automotive engineer, which can talk about what you can bring
okay.
to
First
the development of Belize.
let's look at the let's look at the electrical system. What was the last time, or how long ago was it that the last system was built? The last diesel generating system. How long has it been?
Yeah, that's
Has
a
there
whole
been?
system.
A, no,
Oh,
see,
like Big
that's
Bridge.
okay. That's the problem. We are not building the efficient. We are not building the better. We are relying on the old stuff to keep repairing the old stuff. When that is just draining our funds, that is just draining our frustration and everything. Start by building new systems. Identify areas where you could build a new system. Because for a country, for a government, it's not all that expensive to build a new system. It might take, and which is okay, it might take a couple of years for it to get done, but it will get done. And you will see the improvement just about right away. The systems need to be updated. They need to be updated. There's a lot of systems that Belize have that's so old. You can't expect it to be efficient, and you can't expect it to be good with it being so old. You got to update. You got to update the system.
And you know,
Number
you
one.
have parallels to it. The Mennonites. Let's talk about the Mennonites. The Mennonites run their own electrical plants. They
Mm-hmm.
cannot afford to be depend on the electricity in Belize because they are
Right.
running factories. Okay, they are producer
Right.
of all the country's poultry and all of its
Uh-huh.
milk. Right?
Uh-huh.
They cannot
Uh-huh.
afford and more than poultry and milk. You know, in all different areas, the Mennonites are now into automotive engineering, as you very well know, right? The
Okay.
Caribbean tires and all of that. They are spread out. They are
Mm-hmm.
engineers, and I remember Mr. Sharon gave me a joke that when he was working with BEL, Greg Sharon's father,
Uh-huh.
that he said he was telling me that the Mennonites are self-sufficient in electricity. I said, "How you
Yes.
know that, Mr. Sharon?" He said, "Because I've gone there and I've seen it." He
Uh-huh.
said that they built their own hydro plants out of
Uh-huh.
old cars and things like that. The
Yes.
ingenuity. I think that we have a model, and we are not comparing ourselves to them. You know, they are a Germanic speaking people who have come out of a whole system of engineering in itself, and apparently they don't have degrees. But what Mr. Sharon was trying to say that Belize send most of his engineers, and when they come back, they become managers.
Mm-hmm.
Because he said one came back to him and he told him, break down the piston. This one supposedly came from Canada with his master's degree.
Mm-hmm.
And so he looked at his son Greg and said, you are doing at Edison is managed, right? You can't do my kind of work. I mean, I got your degree. But he was saying that that's a problem because a lot of the so-called engineers that we are getting back into the country, they are not hands-on. Greg Sharon told me today that the young engineers that they are hiring in Edison, he can't have them to troubleshoot a problem because they want to build an app to do it.
Yes, the computer systems and app to
You
control it.
cannot, you see what I'm saying, Winston? So that's a problem. And app for this, app for that. And a lot of our people, yes, they are coming back. A lot of Belizeans are coming back. As you were saying, you started out saying that people have to be trained in these things, but we don't have that technical. Most people are coming back and are managers. You understand? I don't know if you are one of those people, but you can get into the car and operate on the car too, don't you?
Yeah.
You understand the electrical digital system of the car, you can fix it. But I'm saying most of our people are pushing papers as managers and getting big salaries. And I don't want to say BL and WASA and so forth, but talk about that if you may.
I would willingly give up that salary or whatever, but as an educator yourself, you know one thing, working in the States, in the summer, we got 2.5 months that we're off. We're just idle.
Right.
For that 2.5 months, I will be willing to go to Belize, along with my colleagues, along with people that know about these systems. We could sit with the government. We could talk about it and see what needs to be done. How many generating facilities does BEL have? You know?
Yes.
Maybe you need to build more.
Yes. Maybe these are things where you need to talk to John Mencius about.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Right. I mean, this is cross-cultural pollination going on. A Belizean in the diaspora with a Belizean at home. And this is what Devil String Connection is all about. We are bringing voices like you, along with voices on the ground in Belize, to see if we could have that cross-culture, that to help develop Belize itself. So you have skilled people, and you have, I myself have Greg Sharon, who's like, man, I would want to make a difference. He made a difference in scholarship programs and things like that I have advocated, and he have put his money where his mouth there. But he's someone who wants to, he sees the problems like you are seeing it in Belize, in terms of electrical engineering, in terms of all different infrastructures that we don't have that we could have. And it's not that hard for us to develop it. It's just that we are not doing the right things, and we are doing the same thing over and over again. Therefore, we're going to get the same thing over and over again, right? But this is what we are here in Navel String Connection, to bring those voices like you, so that those at home can understand and they can know that there are people who are skilled, right? I love the concept of the Ministry of Tourism and Diaspora Relations, Minister Marla, who have identified the fact that Belizeans in the diaspora plays a very key role, not only in remittances and so forth. And all ministers have said that from all various the two different governments, right? That Belizeans play a key role in the diaspora. But we have to do more, not only talking about it, giving it lip service, but we have to start bringing in our people. We used to have a program, I remember, that Bert Tucker, the economist, introduced, called Talk 10, where someone like you, who does not necessarily want to live back in Belize, but have a skill, that you go and you give your time, like on the summer, like you were talking about.
Yes,
right?
2.5 months.
And run a pilot project, right? Or help do a research, or help develop research and development in the area of these things that we are talking about, right? So it can happen. And I see you push it. While you're on Facebook, I could see you push it. Well, we need to get you into BBI, Build Belize Incorporated, and things like that, so that you can make your statement and make your contribution to people. But talk about that if you may.
Here's one of the things that speaking with other Belizeans, colleagues that are quite educated in different fields in electrical and any other one of the things that we want is, we want to know that when we go to Belize and we start with this, if the government can make it where we are immune from changes in government because you know that they like
Very
to
much.
get rid of people as the government
Good point.
changes, which is very bad for technicians. If
Yeah.
we have this, if we know that we can operate at random, where you have these really intelligent people can operate without fear that the government might change and then this will change and we're gone, then we could start from the basic and start make things happen. Because then I don't have to worry about in 4 or 5 years when the government change, they might say, okay, we want to get rid of this
Yes.
program. This is
That's a
gone.
serious problem.
That's a
And it
very
is still
serious
there.
problem.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
Still
that
there.
contributes to the brain drain, what Belize
Yes,
have with the
indeed.
United States.
Yes, indeed.
Because people are terrified of that. So now we can start with start with our own, like I keep saying, start with our own. Start with the Belizeans that have the knowledge, that have the experience. We can sit down. We can look at, because you can't do anything until you look at what you have. We can go over what they have as far as BEL, what they're producing, what they have, the different plants. And we sit down and decide, okay, well, we need three more plants built with that. Or we need to move this plant from Belize City where there's so much rain and flooding and put it somewhere else so that it is efficient. Because without electricity, the way things are going, it will create a problem, an economic problem.
Yes. And you know, Kendrick Leslie told me a thing before he even had moved back to Belize, right? He was a scientist out here in Los
Yes.
Angeles. He lived right there in Inglewood, as you very well know. And I
Yes.
was having a conversation with him, and he was saying that that's the same issue that you're talking about, right? He said that was one of the reasons that made him leave, you know, and he was chief meteorologist. You work
Yes.
under him, right? And he was saying that now he's a scientist in that field, right? And he was into laser technology, right,
Yeah.
at the time. And that was way back in the 90s. And I spoke with him.
Correct.
He has not even repatriated back home yet. But he was saying this. He was saying research and development is very important in every country. He said
Right.
the company that he was working with here, he said he have gone to various countries and set up meteorological stations, right, for weather, because and set by the United States to that particular country, right? He said the company that they are smart. What they did is that they will not send an American to Belize scientists to do research and development and to set up. They will send someone that comes from that region.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
Because
yes.
they know that region.
Yes.
If you're from Jamaica,
yes.
if that scientist is from Antigua, is that they send Trinidad
You're
or so
familiar.
on, they send a scientist because they have all these people aboard as scientists with them. The United States has an amalgamation and abundance of scientists that is from all these different countries. And they send, he said the company that he worked for send these scientists to the respective countries where they come from, right? He said, we don't do that. Belize don't do that. Belize,
they don't.
Belize bring in a foreign person to set it up that does not necessarily come from Belize itself. And that is a problem in itself. We are not using our own. All right? As we wrap up in this program, talk about that if you may, Winston, because you talk about the brain drain and so on, but also what Dr. Kendrick Leslie was alluding to in that we have a serious problem in that. We will go for an American or a German or a European scientist or engineer rather than use one of our own right there or one that is in the diaspora. Right?
Let me give you an example of that. We go right there to my brother, John Mencius. Give him, start with a gentleman like that. He's very educated in that field too. Give him the tools that he needs. Give him immunity from whatever government changes. Let the man do his work. Let him do his work. Stay off all the ministers that's saying this or say, let him do his work. This is a scientist we're talking about. This is somebody that knows what's going on. So by the fact that you have governments involved in it, you're limiting the man as to what he can do.
Interference into the whole process of development. You're not an engineer, you're just a minister, but you want to tell the scientist,
somebody what to do. Exactly.
How he's supposed to do his job, and we can't.
Exactly. Exactly. That can't happen, and that is what's keeping people away. because you're going to sit there, you're going to invest all these hours looking at what's the best system, how we can design it, how we can put this, and here comes some minister CEO that doesn't know anything about it tell you, oh, well, you know what, we can't do that or we can't do that.
Yes.
That's
That
frustrating.
system has to change.
Has to change.
That system
Have
has
a
to
group
change.
of people that it's like the way the US had it in different ways where they have these nuclear scientists. Nobody can touch these guys.
Yes.
You operate at random.
Yes.
The same thing with Belize. Individuals, Belizeans that are educated, that are experienced in certain fields, let them operate at random. Don't interfere with them. Let them do what they have to do. I want to come back. There's a lot of Belizeans that want to come back. What I want to do is I want to get back involved in education in Belize. Bring these people, bring these students up to date. Give them something to do. We're going to look at the system that we have, not just with electrical, telecommunication. Look at any other
So you are
fields that
very
we
much
have.
talking about students in the IVET, the vocational aspect.
Yes. You
Those
have
are
to
our
look at,
engineers and our scientists right there.
right. Another thing that I would want to tell Belize and tell the government to jump on, start teaching students robotic, teach students how to code, teach students
Yes.
how to
But
program.
Belize already have high schools who are going abroad and winning competition in robotics. They have it.
Yes, we need to do it at
And we
home.
have the minds. We have the minds, Winston. We have brilliant minds
Expand
on
it
the
at
ground in
home.
Belize. Belize have
And
brilliant minds on the ground.
And as final, one of the things that I always say, and I keep saying it on Facebook, we need to quit focusing too much on, when it comes to infrastructure, on the city itself. We know with global warming, and there's this university here in the States that actually did that a couple of years ago. It said that by 2050, Belize City will disappear from global warming because the sea is going to take over. So
Yes,
stop
we are below
focusing.
sea level. We are below sea
Yes.
level.
So stop focusing on all this infrastructure in the Belize and let's start expanding. Let's start putting these generating facilities, put it out there in Belmont Pond, put it out there,
Higher
Orange
grounds.
Rock, put it out there in these areas
Yes.
where it's free from that part.
Yes. Yes.
Look at these, we're advancing.
Yes.
Don't let it catch up
Excellent.
to us. Be ahead of it.
Yes. Excellent.
And start building new stations, start building new electric power plants. One of the worst things you could have is you could have all these advanced technology computer system running a system in Belize or running whatever it is, and there goes power goes out. You know what that does?
I'm telling you, that blows out a lot of the equipment.
Yes, everything got to be rebooted, everything got to be reset, everything got to be, it's not going to happen.
Yes.
So we got to look at it from the base. Let's look at it from the core. Let's
I remember
start
Kevin
building.
being an architect. He have his own architectural firm, and he tell me send him some power pack thing. I'm like, what you talk about? He said, boy, the electricity blow out my computer, the blackouts.
Yes,
But
and these
that
things
thing,
are
once he
expensive.
connects it to it, it will protect the computer. And so I got it and I sent it for him, and he's able to know
He's
because
happy.
of the
He's happy.
constant blackouts. Huh?
Belize it's growing. So we have to have the Belizeans grow with it. We have to have the technology grow with it. We have to invest in the Belizeans that are educated and trained. So many Belizeans are getting trained in Thailand, in Australia, and all the. Let's hold on to them. See what I mean? It's not that much about a big salary, because you can live well with a fairly decent salary in Belize and they'll accept that. But give them the opportunities so that they can operate at random, so they don't have to worry about somebody just coming up and eliminating their job.
And talk
Because
about
that's
this.
not stability.
Yeah, exactly. Talk about this finally. And as we wrap up, we got like 2 minutes to wrap.
Okay.
Belize becoming a manufacturing, like Mexico is manufacturing these things that we are talking about rather than buying them from people.
Right.
We can find spare parts, Winston, in automobiles, right? People have to wait so long before parts come from the United States. But you know who's having those things now? The Mennonites. The Mennonites have apparently moved way ahead.
Yeah.
of the country itself because they are autonomous, right? But the people, you have a segment of a society, right, that is not really indigenous of that country, that is autonomous, but you have your country, your people itself, your human resource is not autonomous. We are not manufacturing. We are dependable on most of our GDP. Most of Belize's GDP is spent on importation rather than exportation.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
That equation is wrong. Something is wrong about it. And I think that there is so much that could be manufactured. Belize can become a manufacturing center in Central America and the Caribbean, like other Caribbean and Central American countries are. Right? The making of batteries, maybe making of things that can propel these things that we are buying from abroad. Talk about that, fine.
Belize is always getting this free, especially the government, they're getting free advice from universities all over the world, right? And what they're not doing is listening to and operating on this free advice because it means a lot. I remember, again, when I was at Weather Bureau in Belize, you had some American university and a couple people from the UK. They came down to Belize and they looked at the entire the weather, the climate, the pressure and stuff like that. And they told Belize then, the Belize government, that they have one of the best areas, one of the best facilities to put an international airport in the entire Western Hemisphere, which is up there by Mascot, and nobody did anything about it.
Yes, and it's still there, and it has not grown, and tourism is growing, and more airlines are coming into the country, and so we are extending. Belize is extending the airstrip, but it still has not moved itself into a international airport.
Right, they have to forget about that and build a new one. Build a new one from the ground up.
Yes, away from that one, somewhere else in the country.
Right.
All that land.
So there's a lot of Belizeans they can identify. There's a lot of Belizeans that are well skilled, that are well trained. We go back a lot. We go on vacation and stuff like that. But you could have like a panel with all these Belizeans, and we sit down and we talk about it. Whether they come over here or go to Belize and see what we can do. I am willing to spend.
This is what the Belize Diaspora Summit is about. We would hope that we could get you to the Belize Diaspora Summit, which is in its third year, Winston. The first Belize Diaspora Summit. Exactly what you're talking about, where think tanks come from, all from Belize and from the diaspora itself, and have panels and discussions on these things, is problem solving. The first one was held right at the Marriott Hotel in Los Angeles in 2024. You missed out on that one.
Yeah,
missed out on
yeah,
that.
I'll be at the next
one. You
one.
as a brother, I have to begin to bring you into the fold. And then the second one, which was last year, was in Florida. And now this is the third one. Now will be held in Belize City, and I want to invite you, as a Belizean expert.
I'll be there.
If you can make it to the Belize Diaspora Summit in Belize this year, make that be a return to Belize after so many years, brother. You know,
definitely,
30 years,
definitely. You know? It's been a while. It's been a while.
Right? And so I'm not only promoting the Belize Diaspora Summit, but I'm also inviting you, because you touched on something that is all that's what the Belize Diaspora Summit is all about.
Right.
And so the Ministry of Tourism and Diaspora Relations is one of the sponsors of the Belize Diaspora Summit. And so we at Navel String Connections, we push that and we promote that. And so you touched on the very point where Belizeans from the diaspora and Belize can come together and meet in this under this umbrella and talk about things that we're talking about. But we have come to the end of our show, my brother. I want to give you your last word. Just as a wrap, I want to make you wrap up and give us a wrap, and then we will close out.
One of the first things we got to look at, and one of the first things we got to do for Belize is we got to look within. Forget about outsiders. Forget about experts. We have Belizeans that are trained, Belizeans that are. Let's look within. Let's start from the basics and build upon that.
Yes.
And that's all it is. That's all it is. Let's start at the basic and build upon that.
Very much so. And Winston Arnold, brother, we want to thank you for coming on and accepting the invitation. I've been trying to invite you a while, and you were like, "I'm ready, I'm ready." And I keep following your blogs, your writings, and your on Belize and problem
Uh-huh.
solving, looking at
Yeah.
various aspects. And today we had an opportunity to hear our brother, and he has brought to us and present to us some outstanding ideas in terms of automotive engineering, electrical engineering, how Belize can work and develop itself within the framework of a developing nation within
Right.
these spheres, within these various disciplines. And we again want to say that this show is sponsored by the Ministry of Tourism and Diaspora Relations. I am Bilal Morris from my studio here live in Los Angeles, and our producer is Noor Mohammed. And we want to thank our brother Harlan behind the control who makes all this happen. And again, we want to tell you, the viewers in the Belizean diaspora and Belizeans on the ground in Belize, tell one to tell one about the show, Navel String Connection, the Belizean diaspora show in the Belizean diaspora, or the Belizean show in the Belizean diaspora. And to you, the viewers, we want to say, on our listeners, thank you again for watching.
Thank you.
I am a true Belizean.